All right, everyone, welcome back to DSP versus the Internet. This is part 5 of 6 for the week of July 1st, 2023, episode 20. We're going to open up this part with some super member questions because I've already talked about the benefits of being an ultra member, that we watch your video no matter what. I talked about the benefits of being a standard member, where you get into a random order playlist where we're going to watch it in a in a shuffle method. But super members get to ask some questions. So we're going to do a little bit of a lightning round Q&A. Let's do it. Have I ever thought about legally changing my name? When I was younger, yes. I actually, for some reason, didn't like my name. As I got older, I just think it's fine. I got used to being Philip Burnell. I think it was the word Phil. Like, I knew no Phils or Phillips when I was growing up. So I thought the name was weird. And I always wished that I had a more common name. But now I just don't give a shit. I've been Philip Burnell for so long, I don't care. Is there a state you would like to visit that you've never been to before? I'm sure there's tons of states that have interesting things to visit and check out. Nothing really particularly is like coming to mind that it's like, oh, I've always wanted to go there and see this particular thing about the state. Every once in a while, like last week, remember we saw the tour of the arcade in New Jersey, I think it was, or was it New Hampshire? Like, yeah, I'd like to go there, go to the arcade, but I can't think of like a state where culturally there's one thing I've always wanted to do there. So I would say probably not. Would you accept snacks from other countries to taste test and react to on stream? Well, let me put it this way. I accept things. If people are interested, hey, I want to send you something, whether it's just for personal use or for the streams, I accept it. But if you have any interest in sending me something, you absolutely must email me ahead of time at darksidephil@hotmail.com. We must have the conversation about it first. Once we talk about what it is, then if I accept, then yes. But do not, I mean this, do not under any circumstance just send something to my house without permission. First of all, I was doxxed a million years ago. So yeah, my address is on the internet, but that doesn't give you free reign to just send me anything. There's been so many people over the years that have done malicious things. Anything that I get that shows up to my house and I don't know what it is explicitly beforehand goes directly into the trash. I will repeat that because some people don't listen. If you send me something without talking about it first and my approval, I am throwing it out. I don't even care if it's like you sent me a fucking PC and I don't know what it is. It's going in the trash because I can't take the risk. There's too many people who've done malicious things to myself and my family members over the years. I just can't take stuff. All right? So please understand that. Now, if you're someone from somewhere else in the world and you wanted to send me some snacks or treats that are culturally relevant from your country, you think I might get a kick out of it, yeah, let's talk about it. Send me an email. We'll talk about it. All right? I'm not saying 100% I want to accept it, but I'm saying, hey, maybe I would like something like that. Would it be an opportunity to do a video where maybe I do a taste testing of things from around the world? Well, I have a DSPReacts channel. Maybe that's a premise for a show where I could try stuff like that. So the answer is I would be interested in it if we talk about it first. So if you're interested, email me. Let's chat. Is there anything you want to accomplish in the near future, personally or professionally? Well, personally, what I'd like to do is get to a point in my life that's not so tumultuous that I can actually do like plans for improvements and things. I've had things in my house that have broken down over the last 2-3 years. I've had no ability to improve. I couldn't tell you when I'm going to be able to get a new PC. I want to get to the financial point where it's stable enough that it's not so fluctuating and crazy that I can actually make concrete plans like a normal human. My problem is I've never been able to do that because of the nature of my job and the crazy shit that always happens. Like I told you guys 2 years ago, I was looking good. I was like, wow, everything's going good on Twitch. If everything goes the way it's going, I might be able to do stuff like that. Then what happens? I get kicked out of the Twitch partner program for literally no good reason. So then my whole life is thrown into a state of flux again, you know? Now I'm getting back to the point where things are settling in. Things would be good on YouTube. If I can keep this going for, a bit, then maybe I can get back to being stable again. That'd be great. So let's see what happens with that. Personally, I would love to go on a vacation with my wife. Now, it wouldn't be a long vacation because we have a pet cat. So maybe a few days, away somewhere. But, I don't know. I have to think about it. But, we haven't done anything since we got married, which was 2019. It's kind of messed up. We never went on a honeymoon. It would be certainly nice to do something like that. So, personally, I'd like to do something like that. Professionally, I think that I've done a ton of improvements in the last year to my setup, to how things look, how things, are presented. So I don't really know what else I could do professionally besides upgrade my PC. You know, outside of that, I'm already reaching out with new React style content and everything. You know, so not many huge changes professionally besides maybe you know, some hardware upgrades. Are there any memorable nightmares you've had that you can share? You know, the thing is with me over my life, I've had weird nightmares. The most recurring nightmares I have are either falling because I have irrational fear of heights, or being back in school and having the fear that I'm going to flunk out. That is one that recurs a million times for some weird reason, okay? But recently, I had this weird-ass dream where, you know how sometimes when you have a dream, you dream that you're, like, in your real house, but it's not your real house? It is, but it isn't. So I had a dream where, like, I was in the house, but the house was, like, giant and weird, almost like a warehouse, but yet I knew it was my house, and it had rooms that were the same. And I don't know, I just weird dream. Just think of how weird this is. My wife says, I noticed something weird in the garage. So I go in there, and it looks like the garage door is somehow been messed with. Like, you could see through it, like someone pried it open or something, right? And I'm looking around in the garage, and for some reason in our garage, there's a giant shipping container, which would never fit in our real garage, which is what I mean. It's our house, but it's not, right? And in the shipping container is some guy who's a stranger, shouldn't be in our house, and he's got, like, earbuds in. And I'm yelling at him, like, hey, who the hell are you? Get the hell out of my house. He's not listening. So I grab, like, I don't know, a rake or something. I don't even have a rake, but I grab a rake, and I yell at him again, and he turns around, and all of a sudden, his whole demeanor changes. He becomes incensed, like he's ready to kill me. So he charges at me, and I bonk him in the head with the rake, and somehow he dies. Okay? So now the rest of my dream becomes, oh no, I killed someone in my house in self-defense. What do I do? So I immediately call the police, but all of a sudden, my home becomes a giant convention center where each room has people attending like a convention. So, like, there's one room with arcade machines, and people are playing arcade machines, and there's another room where there's, like, people hanging out with drinks and food, and there's another room where there's, like, Street Fighter players playing. It's I told you, this is a weird-ass dream. So, anyway, basically what happens is people go into, like, the garage, and they fuck with this shipping container and the dead body, and they completely contaminate the crime scene. So now any evidence of what actually happened has been disturbed. There's dogs and Shih Tzu dogs going in there and pissing and shitting all over it. I'm like, I told you, this is a weird dream. So at the end by the end of the dream, the weirdest thing happens. So it's the end of the dream, right? And the whole thing ends. Everyone leaves, and I'm like, wait a minute, where are the police? The police never showed up. And you want to know what I think it is? It's me having this thought in the back of my head from over a month ago when someone stole a tire off of my car in the parking lot of the local mall, and we filed a police report, and the police never followed up with us. They didn't care. The local police here actually thought that theft of a tire off of a car, even though there were security cameras in the lot that literally saw the whole thing and could have led to someone being prosecuted, the police didn't bother following up and never contacted us. So I think that's what it was. Like, in my mind, you know, in the subconscious, now thinking, geez, even if a murder was committed, the police don't care anymore. You know? I don't know. I don't think that. But it's kind of messed up that a crime happens to you, and you file a police report, it's on record, and the police just don't bother ever even giving you a phone call. They don't give a shit about it. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? That's modern society in America anyway. Mark did a question here. He says, "Greetings, Phil. I want to ask you a few questions about the Reacts. How you like them." But then he didn't ask the questions. Like, there's no question there. So there's nothing to answer. I think you didn't understand the premise of the thing here. And then I got a question. What color is it? Well, the word "it" is white on my screen because I actually use the dark mode on YouTube. So it is white. So there you go. All right, those are our questions for the week. Very exciting stuff there, right? Very, very exciting stuff. You guys liked my dream analysis? Interesting. Anyway, continuing on, let's watch more videos.
From calorie count to portion sizes, we wanted to find out all the differences between Costco food in the US and the UK. This is Food Wars.
Costco US versus UK.
Here is an iconic Costco hot dog in the UK.
Yes, the famous Costco hot dog.
In the UK, the length of a hot dog is
I think it's identical. It's
8
the same
inches.
hot dog, is
Don't
it not?
laugh.
8 inches. Almost exactly 8-inch dog.
It's also advertised as a quarter-pounder hot dog. Let's see if that's true. So with the bun and some onions, the whole thing weighs 250 grams. I'm going to take the sausage out and weigh that on its own to see if that is a quarter-pounder. Turns out that without the bun and the toppings, it does weigh exactly a quarter of a pound.
Ah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, 'cause
I know
they're
it's, like, manufactured and
mass-produced.
mass-made by machines.
So they're all
but,
the
you know,
same.
still cool.
Oh my God. It's exactly 4 ounces. Wow. They kept it a quarter pound after it's cooked and everything. See? Costco. It's not impossible. All these people watch this and they're like, it's a quarter of a pound before you cook it. Well, they said 4 ounces, whatever they're doing, after it's cooked. It is the advertised 4 ounces. Way to go, Costco.
Oh, it's interesting. He said
In
in
the UK,
England they have
Costco pizza
onions.
is
There's no onions in it in the
17
United States.
inches
They don't
in
have
diameter.
that.
That makes the surface area 227 square inches.
In the US, our Costco pizza should also be 18 inches in diameter. Let's measure it. More like 17 and a half.
Oh, they
It's
skimped.
still $9.99.
They skimped.
That's a ridiculous deal. You can keep that half an inch.
Our pizza today was cut into 6 pieces. I'd say for a pizza of this size, it's kind of uncommon to see only 6 slices. I would expect maybe 8 or 10.
Yeah,
like
the
a
pieces are
Domino's, but
huge.
We're going to weigh one slice and find out how big it is.
Now, let's weigh 1 slice.
That is a dense slice of
Whoa.
pizza. There's some citation needed.
Oh
but
my
this might
God.
be the heaviest slice of pizza we've ever weighed on Food Wars. That's a big layer of cheese.
That's insane.
Not a ton of tomato sauce. I would say it's like maybe 70% bread. So I don't know if you're getting a ton of value for money when it comes to toppings. I quite like it.
It's
got that
humongous
nostalgic
pizza, like
cheap
super
frozen
dense.
Pizza quality.
The chicken bake. I don't know what the origin of this is, but it's a pretty good idea. It's just like a giant chicken hot pocket, right?
Man, they got better. Their pizza was
The guy
bigger,
holding
and
up
their
the fish
friggin' bake
piece
is
before.
bigger
We've
too.
already used this guy in
right?
a recent episode, but we can reuse it.
Tuh.
I am curious. Oh, why is this so good? This is so good.
Huh.
I will say, I love stodgy food. So I feel like I am the target audience for all of these foods. The fountain drinks in the UK come in one size, and it's supposedly 22 fluid ounces. Of course, we have to check it. So in what seems to be an increasingly rare occurrence on Food Wars, that is actually as much drink as we were promised. That's 22 ounces.
But the fountain drinks in the US are 20 fluid ounces.
We get less. Boy, we get less in the U.S. What's going
Look,
on
that's
here?
exactly 20 ounces, and I filled it up at the thing. Man, Costco is like razor sharp with the portions, right? They're not leaving anything to chance. Thank you, Costco.
Here are all the Costco menu items in the UK that you won't find in
Yeah,
the
we don't
US.
have these.
Here are all the Costco menu items in the US you
We have
won't
almost
find in the
none
UK.
special stuff over
Quick
here.
disclaimer,
Wow,
the
there's a
menus
lot
seem
of
to
stuff
vary
over
slightly
there.
depending on where you are in the UK or the US. I got these from the Chingford location just outside of London, and Joe's got his from the Burbank location in California. We have one exclusive pizza option in the UK from Costco, and it's this one, the barbecue chicken pizza. As the name
Barbecue
suggests,
chicken?
It's a barbecue chicken pizza, which also comes with some green bell peppers and some red onion. When I see a
SD Charter says those chicken bakes are delicious. Before COVID, they used to stuff them with chicken. Post-COVID, they're very skimpy.
barbecue pizza in the UK, I usually grimace because it tends to mean that the sauce is barbecue, and I don't like that. But I think here they've actually just kept the same. Like,
Well, that's
cheese and
good. I
tomato
like
base,
red sauce on pizza. I
and
don't want
the
barbecue
toppings
sauce on
top,
pizza.
which, in
That
my
looks
opinion,
good.
is what a barbecue pizza should be.
Messy, but good.
Leon does not agree. It still feels pretty hefty. Maybe not quite as dense or as hefty.
What's up
as
with the pizza on the
cheese pizza
right
dip.
that looks
The
like
dough
it's,
seems
like,
to be
plain
not
dough?
quite as thick. Try just the chicken on its own first. It's not bad. I'm not getting much barbecue flavor from that. It's more just like a sort of grilled chicken. Usually my biggest complaint of barbecue pizzas is that they're too barbecuey.
This one is not at
Whereas
all.
this one actually isn't very barbecuey at all. That means that I like it, but if you do normally like quite a strong barbecue sauce flavor from your pizza,
That looks pretty good. That
this
looks
one
like a
might
good
not be
pizza.
enough for you. In the UK, you can also get whole pizzas as part of a family bundle. The bundles come with a full-size pizza, one of these gigantic garlic breads,
That's a garlic bread? No, it's
Two of
not.
these
It's
garlic
pizza,
and herb
though.
dips,
Pizza
and
don't
also
paint it with
a
garlic
2-litre
butter.
bottle of Pepsi Max, half of which I have spilled on the floor of the studio.
Tuh.
Twisted churro. We got these, you guys don't. That's not a lot of stuff. All right, this thing, churro, cinnamon, dough.
Next up, we've got
Big
Costco's take
churro.
on a classic British dish, cottage pie. Now, our American viewers
A
may have heard
cottage
of shepherd's
pie.
pie. Cottage pie is basically the same thing in that it's a layer of some cheese on top, usually, some mashed potato,
Huh.
but instead of the lamb mince mixture, cottage pie contains beef mince. Now, this is a classic British dish, and we do feel pretty passionately about things like this. So let's hope Costco have done it justice. The strategy seems to be sell large quantities of food, but really pack it with the kind of cheap stuff. So for example, there's like a small amount of cheese on top here, a very small amount of beef on the bottom, and I'd say like 80% of this is just
mashed
mashed
potatoes. It's cheap,
give it a
of
try.
course. It's like a shepherd's pie. Yeah, it
actually
looks
quite
similar to a
tasty.
shepherd's pie.
I don't work for Costco.
He likes everything.
I'm a truth seeker. So again, the beef is like, it's very rich. It's quite thick, but there's a real like meaty flavor to that. Is it the best cottage pie you ever had? No, probably not. But is it like an affordable, filling version that's fairly true to the original? I'd have to kind of say yeah. You do get kind of more filling as you go into the middle as well. It wasn't
Why are they
quite
getting
like
so
that,
much?
thankfully.
Why are their portions bigger
Yeah, I
and
don't
they
know.
get
I
more?
actually don't think
Bullshit.
they've done too bad a job here.
I want the
Next up,
UK
we have
items
this one,
here.
which is
I
the
want to
double
try that.
chicken fillet
A double
sandwich.
chicken fillet
Considering it's
sandwich?
just, like,
What?
Hefty food.
What?
This thing is absolutely
What the hell is
massive.
that? Two
Yeah,
chicken
I
fillets
think
on
maybe
one
they were
piece of
supposed to
bread?
stack the chicken
What the
patties
hell is
instead of
that?
lay them side by side, 'cause the
Well,
bun
I've never
down
seen
the
that like
side,
that before. That's
there's
like the
also only
double
got one
down
slice
with
of cheese
bread
on it,
and other
so only
things.
about
What the
40%
hell
of
is
it's covered in
that?
cheese. I might have to do some quick tactical rearrangement here. There's
That's
there's a little bit of
ridiculous.
cheese on the bottom. So you get cheese. God, but then it's like, can you eat this?
No,
'Cause
you
that
can't.
is
It's too
also a
big to eat.
logistical nightmare
It's
to
just
eat.
too
I
big
think
to
whichever
eat.
way
Look
you
at it.
stack this, it's going to be quite tricky to eat. But this is the double chicken fillet sandwich. There are
It really
two
is a
chicken
KFC
fillets,
double down,
two
only it
slices
has a
of cheese,
bun and
some
everything else
lettuce,
too. It's
and
like
some
everything
tomato.
together. Oh my god. I wonder if it's good.
Extremely dry,
Oh.
very bland.
Ah.
Like, none of the components taste of anything somehow.
Wow.
It's a bit of a miss. Again, it's like, it's big. It would fill you up.
A bunch of
Next up, we
ingredients, but
have
it's
the
all
Korean
bland.
barbecue beef bake.
Korean,
It's like the chicken
Korean
bacon, but
bake.
it's kind of a baguette with some cheese on top, filled with meat.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of chicken and bacon, this one has Korean barbecue beef. I
Derek
imagine-
says Costco also has sundaes, but the cups are bigger. But I never had their sundae. I never seen their ice
it's
cream.
going to be
no.
a similar level of stodginess
Korean
to
chicken bake. It's like
the
empty.
chicken bake and also to everything else that we've eaten today. The filling on its own doesn't really taste of much, which is slightly disappointing. That's bland. That's disappointing. I'm still eating it.
Completely bland.
It's just like nothing that jumps out to me as like, you know, Korean flavors in this. If you're going to make something that bland, I think don't drag Korea through the mud, just call it beef bake and be done with it. There's one other classic British dish on the UK Costco menu, which unfortunately they forgot to give me today, and it's jacket potatoes. There's a note in the script where Joe says that he doesn't know what a jacket potato is, so I'll do my best to just explain it to you now. As the name suggests, it's basically just a potato that you keep in your jacket in case you get hungry.
What?
These can either be boiled or baked. You'll usually wrap it in some
You
foil
do
so that
what?
it doesn't kind of touch anything else.
This is real? In the UK, they keep a potato in their jacket in case they get hungry? What? That's not a joke?
Else that's in your pockets, keep it on you, and then whenever you get hungry during the day, you have a nice snack with you.
What?
As the name suggests, it's basically a potato that you keep in your jacket. We also have two exclusive dessert-style options in the UK, including a caramel fudge sundae and a coffee caramel frappe. I didn't get either of them today, but here's what they look like.
Two cold drinks you get here in the U.S.
Who
Costco
cares?
is the fruit smoothie. Oh my God, that's great. Wow, that's really good. And the cold brew mocha freeze. Oh boy, has melted. I'm really surprised how good these cold drinks are. I mean, the food is good, but these are really good. Yeah, that's picking me up. That's picking me up, Newells. Let's go.
All right. Well, that's half of it. I mean, it's a 21-minute long video. That's interesting. So, in the UK, basically, the UK has better stuff. I mean, some of it's bland, but they definitely, like that barbecue chicken pizza looked pretty good. You know, they just have more stuff over there. That's baloney. I demand they bring that menu over here. All right. I've not seen this. You really did this? You can't even hear him. The music's terrible. That was a complete waste of time. I feel like he wanted to do it, and they said, yes, you can do it. And then when he came out, he's like, "What? You can't hear it." Wow, that's kind of messed up. I feel like they built him up like he was going to be able to do that, and it was going to be like a big deal. And then he goes to do it, and they're playing the song anyway, so you can't hear him at all. That's right. That's pretty messed up. I would be pissed if I was like, yeah, I want to come out rapping. Okay, you could do it. And they come out, but they're playing the song anyway, so you can't hear the rap. Like, why did you do that? Just turn the fucking music, let me rap. Or play the instrumental version, right? Whatever. All right. One more before we flip the fire here.
Over the years, we've talked about the concept of the impossible port, a game that runs on systems punching above their weight. Case in point would be Resident Evil 2 on the Nintendo 64, a showcase in technical masterclass. Or how about Doom on the Super NES? Aided by the Super FX2 chip,
I played it.
It still needed to be optimized in 100%
it looked okay,
hand-coded
but it was
assembly.
very choppy.
These ports were developed by some of the most brilliant coders in video games, wizards who could make the impossible happen. And one such port is Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the Game Boy Advance. Street Fighter Alpha 3 was to be the final iteration in the Alpha series, once again running originally on the Capcom CPS2 arcade hardware. It expanded the roster and introduced selectable fighting styles, and continued on with its amazing high-quality 2D hand-drawn
it's not the real
sprites,
game, though.
silky smooth animations, amazing backgrounds, and of course the music. The Game Boy Advance port was technically an amazing achievement. Not because the Game Boy Advance couldn't run Street Fighter Alpha 3, but because not only did it run the game, it also included the entire roster of playable characters, and it also brought 3 additional ones into the fray. Yun from Street Fighter 3, Maki from Final Fight 2, and Eagle from Street Fighter 1.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Some
I knew
cuts
it
had
had
to
new
be
characters,
made
I didn't
along
know
the
which
way,
ones.
but the game all said and done was compressed down, complete, and fit into a single 32MB Game Boy Advance cartridge. The studio who worked on this port was Crawfish Interactive, who were well versed in Street Fighter, having worked on Street Fighter Alpha Dreams for the Game Boy Color. But this time around, they had a mammoth task on their hands, and it would be spearheaded by lead programmer
Street Fighter
Keith
Alpha
Burkill,
on Game Boy?
who, although not a household name, was a wizard when it come to writing code. Keith had made a name for himself as far back as the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. He's credited for many games, but the 2 that stand out for me are Space Harrier and Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh my god, look
On
at
the
that Ghosts
Specky
and
at first
Goblins
glance,
port.
these ports seem like nothing special.
It's like the
but let's
Doughboy,
dig in a
Pillsbury
little
Doughboy
further.
fighter.
The ZX Spectrum was a
Yikes.
legendary home computer released in the early 80s by Sinclair Research. Its competition at the time was the Commodore 64, BBC Micro, and Amstrad CPC. The Specky ran an 8-bit Z80 processor.
So anyway, let's skip ahead. I don't need to hear about these. I want to hear about Street Fighter Alpha 3.
1,096 colors
that's
on
the real
screen at
game.
once from a 32-bit palette and supports 16 colors per tile. The Game Boy Advance runs at a resolution of 240 by 160 pixels, or a 3
So
to
it
2
came out in
aspect
2002.
ratio. Supports up to 128 sprites on screen at once, and selects from a 15-bit color palette and can display up to 512 colors on screen at once. For the game, Crawfish utilized Mode 0. This means that there are 4 individually tiled background layers, and 1 object layer to contain the sprite data. But what's interesting here is that Mode 0, none of those layers themselves can be rotated or scaled. If we take a closer look at one of the stages in the game, Background 0 contains the status display and heads up for the health bars and alpha triggers. Background 1
separate.
contains the nearest foreground.
I'm just curious. See, the thing is, I don't think it played like Alpha 3,
Unfortunately,
though.
some background stages were eliminated, and more importantly for fans, the stage music was changed significantly. Some people love it, but some people don't, and much of the speech from the game did not make it into the port.
That's not surprising.
That classic Alpha 3 announcer was nowhere to be found. Many sound samples that did make it into the game would be simply pitch shifted and reused for other characters.
Oh, that was friggin'... It's close. The music is terrible.
But make no mistake, what's here is excellent. A superb port, and while certainly not arcade perfect,
Yeah.
captures the essence of Alpha 3 on a portable small screen.
I would say probably, arguably, the most impressive handheld from that era that I've ever seen. You know, they really wanted to make it feel like the game. It's not. It's obviously, the handheld's not going to play like the arcade version, but that's pretty crazy. And they got all those characters, too. I mean, the one thing is going to be the music sucks. But outside of that, that's pretty good. All right, guys. We're almost there. One part left in this week's DSP versus the Internet. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. The final part's right around the corner. I'll see you there.